My name's Chris Kollar. I'm with Kollar Chocolates here in Napa Valley, Yountville, the town of Yountville, little chocolate shop up here. We have our online going right now. We're currently doing a little curbside, and we're focusing on some Mother's Day coming up. What we do at Kollar Chocolates is we make small hand batch truffles, bonbons, pralines, barks, bars, some hot chocolate, and some fun chocolate stuff. Here's an example of some of our products right here. We try to keep our varieties pretty wide and earthy. So you see those colors on there. We try to make the colors represent how things started when they grew from the earth, like sunflower is yellow, black and white, and orange is orange, and coffee is the color of coffee. So small batch handmade chocolates. You can find us online, and we weren't in shelter in place. You could come into our shop, and one of the neat things about the shop is you can come in and have that experience and smell the chocolate and see the crafting and ask the chocolatiers what they're making and cutting. And so that's part of the experience of Kollar Chocolates. We've been here for 8.5 years in the V Marketplace. And we're going to have some fun today with Vincent, an old friend from the Valrhona chocolate family, and make some treats, some fancy Rice Krispie treats, chocolate peanut butter. Thanks for having me, Vincent. This is really cool. Thanks for putting this all together.
Oh yeah, thank you for joining me, Chris. I really enjoy your chocolates, and I want to do what I can to help support local businesses.
Yes.
Okay, so Chris, I'm going to take a minute or two just to explain what I'm going to do quickly, because while you're working, they can just watch me cooking my my almonds with caramel, right? So essentially, okay. Oh yeah, there's those chocolates again.
Okay. My executive co-producer's showing me what I need to be doing.
That's true. All right, so I am going to be making these caramelized almonds right here, and then I'm going to coat them with chocolate. To do that, I have my syrup going on, and the recipe's in the post. And I have a syrup. I'm going to add my almonds, which are not toasted. The almonds are not toasted, and then I'm just going to start cooking them. Right? There we go. And that's going to take at least 8 minutes. So I'm going to do that. And while I do that, Chris, please do your thing.
Cool. Well, we're going to start by making the old classic basic Rice Krispie treat recipe, but we're going to add a little twist to it, and we're going to roll it out and pulverize it. So first of all, I'm going to be working a microwave. You see the recipe on the line, or you saw the link earlier. You're going to take your first couple ingredients, just good old marshmallow. You can make your own homemade or just use the store-bought. In this application, we want to make sure that everyone can do this at home and have go buy the store-bought stuff. Add your butter, add your marshmallow, melt it until it looks like that, nice and gooey. It's all melted up. Take your weighed out Rice Krispies. You're going to stir it in there. I need to invest in, you know what I need to invest in? Wireless headphones.
Yeah. Hey.
Might be the wave right now, the future of this kind of demonstration.
They have some like new AirPods coming out,
I'm gonna get the newest, greatest. So dump your whole mixture, your whole marshmallow mixture in there. You're gonna incorporate it until it's gonna get thick, it's gonna get hard. The butter's gonna help it from not being so gooey and so sticky. And then once it's one big clump, we're gonna dump it out here on the table. Now this is something we do on a regular basis. We make our own marshmallow, and we make a fun spin on chocolate sushi, and we call it the sticky rice. Looks like there's fermented soybeans in here right now, but it's not. So we're gonna get this gooey mixture right here. And just like anything in a kitchen, restaurant, food, any kind of food, season everything, season a little bit. So we have this big glob. Oh, can you see? Let me get my camera straight here. Oops. Man down.
Camera malfunction, huh?
Camera malfunction. Let's see here.
Hey, Anna, for the syrup, it's essentially, I believe the syrup was from the recipe, maybe 50 grams of water. 40% of that is, 50 grams of sugar, 30 grams of water, and then 150 grams of nuts.
So
Looks beautiful, Chris.
thanks. Yeah, it's a nice big clump. Let me grab. You want to put a little water on your hands while you work this? The sugar will stick everywhere. It won't ruin the recipe or anything, but
Hi, Justine.
so make a little rectangle like this. That's good enough. I'm just going to cut it in half. Discard the first part. Nice mess. Get a little more water on the hands. Work it some more.
Chris, I know your hands are real sticky, but can you lower your camera on the LinkedIn side so we can see
Lower
a little
the camera on the LinkedIn side. Yep. How's that? Oh, on this side.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome.
Cool. Ah, look at that. Cool. All right. So we're gonna break out the rolling pin here. A little moisture on there as well. And then we're gonna roll it out like a dough.
Just real quick, my nuts, as you can see, they're coated with sugar, right? You know, it's like very like sandy coating. And from here, we're gonna slowly caramelize them. And at the same time as they're caramelizing, they're also toasting.
I love toasted nuts.
Yeah. Then on top of that, some chocolate, right?
Yes. So we're gonna cut these out into little rectangles. You can measure it if you want. We're just free forming everything right now. The fun thing about this is you can always just reform this stuff.
So, Chris, why do you make your own marshmallow as opposed to buying it?
Well, the store-bought stuff has a lot of extra things in there for shelf life. And so the ones here, we're just putting, sugar, gelatin, vanilla bean, how much vanilla we want to put in there, and we can manipulate it on our own. The shelf stability is a little bit less, but yeah, I think I wouldn't say it's more nutritious, but it's a more cleaner, homemade kind of a flavor. We do it for our hot chocolates as well.
Nice.
So we have these little slabs here. I'm sticking a little bit. That's okay. When they get colder, they set up. And so what we do is, one's a little messy. We'll put it off to the side. I cut this one just before we started. They'll end up in little slabs like this. And it's very pliable and workable, and you have the canvas to work with here now. And so you'll cut these in your squares, pop them in your fridge for about 5 minutes, and then you'll have, these rectangles. The next thing we want to do is melt. We're going to make basically a peanut butter praline, a house-made praline, but with peanut butter. So we'll let the manufacturers do all the roasting and pureeing. Pick your favorite peanut butter. We like to use one that's sugar-free, that has no ingredients but peanuts and salt, and that's it. And so get your favorite peanut butter, put it in a bowl, melt your milk chocolate, and if you do have cocoa butter, melt your cocoa butter in there. If you don't have cocoa butter, it's okay. We're going to blend this into the peanut butter. I don't know if we could see that right there. Super simple. And we're just going to stir. Yep.
Just wanted to mention that I'm pretty much done here in the last minute of the toasting process or the cooking process. I just added my butter and my fleur de sel, my nice sea salt.
Okay.
And it evenly coats the nuts, and it forms kind of like an impermeable layer, right? So that your nuts will be good at room, just at room temp in a container covered for at least a month.
Those
right? Look good enough, Chef?
No, those look great. Those look awesome.
Is that French brown enough or what?
Yeah, very French brown enough. And also, what Vincent's doing when he coats those in sugar, it helps with fat migration to all you culinarians out there. And you know, we're going to have longer shelf life if that's in a bar or if it's in another product. It's going to stay shelf stable quite a bit longer. So we're going to mix milk chocolate. Favorite milk chocolate? We like to use Valrhona chocolate. They're our favorite. We'll mix this in there. It's a nice 40%. Has a nice honey, chestnut kind of a flavor mixed with the peanut. Then I'm going to hit it just to incorporate it all the way with a hand blender. Any immersion blender you want, hand blender, whatever you want to call them. Just get a nice mix in there. So when we heated up this chocolate, we want to bring it to 120 degrees. We want to break down all the cocoa butter crystals in there and get it into its one of its tempering stages. And then it's slowly going to start coming back down once we hit it into the cold peanut butter, room temperature peanut butter. And that temperature is going to settle around 82 to 84 degrees, which is a great balance for this to start setting up so it can get hard. And so it's your basic mixture right here. And we're basically at the stage of, okay, we can start assembling. We've done the same thing with dark chocolate. We use the microwave. If you do melt your chocolate in a bain-marie, also known as a water bath, that's good. You can also melt it in your microwave if you're careful, 15, 20, 30 seconds at a time until it melts to around that 120 degrees stage. That will break down all the crystals once again, and then slowly bring it down to the 80 degree stage and work with it. Pull it up to about 87 and start working with it. So I've pre-melted this chocolate. I've let it coat down to the 80 degree mark, and I'm going to go ahead and use it now. I can see it setting up on the side of the bowl. We can give it a little test here with our little thermometer. And this is really important. Yeah, we're looking great. I'm at 82 degrees. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to take the challenge. Anybody who works with chocolate, basically we're manipulating temperatures all this time when chocolate's melting and setting up. So I feel like it's manipulated enough to be in its stage that it can crystallize once we start making the layers. So we're going to assemble and make this really easy. Let me get this out of here. Yeah, definitely investing in some headphones that are wireless. How long do you let your nuts cool before you start eating them?
Well, I definitely am going to start eating them within like 5-10 minutes. But to use them, I'm going to let them cool for, a couple of hours. Essentially, what I'm actually going to do, I mean, we're talking about like the home cook right now, right? Yep. So we're going to play around with it a little differently. What we're going to do is I'm going to chill the nuts. I mean, I can, obviously you have something coated in sugar, but so you don't want to keep it in the cooler, for too long. But we're going to freeze them, throw them in the freezer so they get nice and cold. Going to dump them into our bowl, and then our ratio for chocolate to nuts is going to be, we're going to incorporate the chocolate bit by bit, right? And just to show you what we're going to go through is when we first incorporate it, it's going to look like this, right? So this is what it's going to look like. And then after we've incorporated, I'll show you as well, but I'm going to work that in the first addition. So it'd pretty much be by the ladle, right? And the chocolate does not need to be tempered, right? It just, essentially all we're going to do right here, I mean, again, this is for people at home. This is not like, all right, professional grade.
Right. So you'd be panning if you were, this is like a home pan kind of thing without the tumbling.
Yes, exactly. So you're home panning. You're just doing this by hand. And because you've chilled your nuts, as you can see, the chocolate's going to start seizing up on them. And the chocolate is Javara chocolate, of course, the same one that you're using. Delicious chocolate. Yeah. So just going to keep working it like that, right? And I'm going to do this until the chocolate crystallizes on the nuts. And again, in the first edition, it's going to look like this, right? This is what it's going to look like. And then if I were to show you the second edition, which I'll be working on, while you're doing your thing, it looks more like this, right? So you can see it's thicker, right? compared to the first edition, right? You
Uh-huh.
see that's thin and that's thicker. And gradually we're getting a thicker coating of chocolate. And I mean, it takes time, right? So this is something that you can do over the course of an hour or two, just adding layer and layer of chocolate to the point where this is something else that I had done where I have a hazelnut, right? I prefer hazelnuts with
Oh,
my
cool.
chocolate. And I actually did 2 coatings, right? And 3 coatings, right? So I was just playing around with it, but that takes time. And I did use a panner. I used the KitchenAid panning attachment, right? Like a good $500-$600 investment, but it's worth it.
Yeah. I picked one up last year, and Michael Recruity was kind enough that he invited me down to teach me some stuff. I need to take him up on that. This would probably be a good time.
Yeah, definitely should. You'd learn a lot.
Okay. Well, while that's going on, I'm going to start making these layers here, and it's as simple as you can make as many sheets. You can make about close to 10 to 11 sheets out of the recipe that we have set up here. I'm just going to do 4, and it's basically just put a little amount on here, and you're going to spread it. And once again, we're going to be playing with cold air, temperature, cocoa butter setting up. So I just put a little bit of that peanut butter on there, setting up with the milk chocolate. I'm going to spread it evenly across this first sheet. A little more.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Chad wants you to mail him some, all right?
Okay. Give me your address, Chad. These are super fun. They're good. I like popping them in the fridge for an hour or so and eating them cold. And I'll show you what we do at the very end. And so I'm just going to spread that on there. You can see that. I'm going to take my next sheet, very pliable, very flexible. You can do a lot with this. I'm going to put it right on the top. I'm going to take that melted chocolate that's tempering. It's getting really thick right now. You'll see when I pour it. And once again, home, this is great for the home. Nothing super technical going on here. If you do want to learn about tempering chocolate, yeah, I would just Google something or check it out on YouTube. Most every way is going to be really, really simple. You're just going to be following temperature zones. You ever see people putting chocolate on marble and moving a spatula across it back and forth? They're tempering the chocolate. They're trying to get it to a certain temperature before they manipulate it. And so they're, yep.
What would happen if the home cook, was doing this at home and they didn't use tempered chocolate for that?
Well, that's a good question. They could melt it and let it set up. I wouldn't make it too hot if I was at home and I was just playing with chocolate for the very first time. I would bring it to over just about 100 degrees, and then it will set up, and it will get hard again. But you might see some, I guess you would call them imperfections. It might have some blooming, as they would call it in the industry. It might be a little foggy. It might have some spots on it. It's not bad. It's not sour. It's not. Don't throw it away. It's still good. Just pop it in the refrigerator, and it will get hard, but it just won't be pretty. That's about it. So we have the chocolate layer down. Now we're going to put another crispy layer down right on top. Give it a little press. You could put jelly on here if you want, or you could put caramel on here if you want. We're just sticking to the peanut butter and dark chocolate right now. We're going to put another layer of peanut butter. It's just a thin layer, nothing major, a couple millimeters. And if you didn't want to use peanut butter praline or milk chocolate incorporated in your peanut butter, go ahead and spread regular peanut butter on there. All right, so we have another layer of peanut butter, another layer of cookie. Let it settle down in there a little bit. Then we're going to do, yeah, this is fun. And this last layer, we're going to coat the whole darn thing, well, as much as I can. So this is 4 layers and then a thicker layer of peanut butter on the top. If you can see right here in the camera, On the inside of the bowl, I can't really scrape it all. That chocolate has tempered on itself. It's come to the crystallization stage. You can see it pouring off the side of the bowl right there. So it's setting up on us right in front of our eyes. Pretty cool. I'm going to take one more layer of this.
So how many layers total is it? Your Rice Krispie Treats Napoleon?
This one's going to be 2 layers of peanut butter and 2 layers of chocolate. So we got 4 total.
Okay.
Now this would be a cool time. You know, some of those caramelized, those chocolate coated caramel nuts you're making there. We could crush those up right now and just sprinkle it on top while the chocolate's coming up. I know it's set in there. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
So
get some crunchiness, saltiness.
Exactly. So the very last thing is, let's see here. Let me get a sheet tray real quick. Hold on. Grab me a sheet tray. Perfect. Awesome. So this is pretty manageable.
Hi, Rodney.
I'm going to take this big old thing right here and put it on a sheet tray. And this is enough for, gosh, I mean, 8, 9 people could chow down on this. It'd be more than enough.
Wow.
We got that.
Monster.
It is a monster. This thing weighs about 2.5 pounds.
Hi, Didi.
So I'm going to pop this in the fridge real quick.
Okay.
Okay, pop it in the freezer on the top shelf. And I'm going to show you how fast this is going to set up. It's going to set up in, gosh, a couple minutes. And we'll be able to slice into it right here, right now.
Nice. So let me take 30 seconds in and show you that I did my 3rd coating of chocolate on here. And if we look at the difference, again, if we look at the 1st coating, the 2nd coating, well, no, it's not 2nd. This is 2nd, and then this is 3rd, right? Yeah, real complicated here on my hand. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, you see the distinction between the thickness of the chocolate, right? So I have this. Now, obviously, you're not going to see this in the store, right? But you would see it in a restaurant, and you can do this at home for Mother's Day. And definitely that's something that Chris should talk about, things that he's offering for Mother's Day. But if you want to make this for Mom, she's going to like it. And you know what? My mom's going to eat it. I'm going to give this to her. So I'm just going to add some cocoa powder, then some nice Valrhona Extra Brut cocoa powder, and I'm going to coat them, right, with the cocoa powder.
Very cool. Yeah.
And then you have rustic looking pan chocolate, pan chocolate, right?
You did everything in the same bowl.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
Minimize the cleaning.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone else who's been cooking every single night at home recently, all the dishes we have to do, it's a little more than usual.
Right? Isn't it crazy?
That's a great one for a nice, simple.
All right. It's really easy. I'm not saying it's like refined, but it tastes delicious, And then if I cut into it, I mean, that's a thick layer of chocolate, right? Look at that.
That's cool.
Thick layer of chocolate.
That's great. Yeah, moms would love that in a little bag for Mother's Day. Some homemade chocolate. I love the texture on that thing also, because you have that sugar crunch. That's a special crackle. Then that tempered chocolate, and then the nut. It's like 3 different crunches. Super cool.
You know which one is? This is amazing with hazelnuts. So you do your toasted caramelized hazelnuts with milk and dark chocolate. So it's a little more balanced. Oh man. That's delicious. That's there's a pastry crack. Yeah, I'm talking
pastry crack. How fun! Yeah, well, you can find us. I'm going to pop this out of the fridge, but go to KollarChocolates.com. We have Mother's Day promotions going on. You treat your mom or someone else's mom to some $50 or more. We're going to throw in some extra stuff for Mom there, and we're also going to have a little pop-up outside of our shop next Friday between 9 and 11 and Saturday 9 and 11. and we're gonna have some pre-orders, some curbside, and we'd love to fill your Mother's Day gifts this year, especially during this time. So we're able to get most of our truffles back in line and our barks, and we have a good selection for Mom this year. So come see us, come visit us. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna break out this peanut butter Napoleon. If you can see the top right here, oh yeah, you can see on this bottom camera, right? It's not gooey anymore. I'm rubbing my fingers through here. It's all set up. So that's great. And the peanut butter, most of it is set up. We're gonna break this out. Put it right here. Grab a knife.
So Anna, the syrup that you asked for earlier, I believe it was 50 grams water, 50 grams sugar, 30 grams water, 150 grams nuts, right? You bring the syrup to boil, you add in your nuts, you mix it up, and you cook it for 10 minutes. And then you add a small amount of butter, like 3.5 grams of butter or cocoa butter, and then 2 grams of salt. And then you finish cooking it, throw it on, let it cool, and then you do your panning. The chocolate should be around 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. Maybe Chris can convert that for you.
About 80, 85, 87. Yes. Well, we just cut into the Napoleon. Oh, perfect.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, so the chocolate set up nice. You know, it sets up really quick. And so if you can see that, how's that look on your end?
How's this pairing look, huh? Split nut, chocolate Rice Krispie Napoleon.
Snap, crackle, crunch, pop, jump. So yeah, the peanut butter is not 100%, but I would say another few minutes and it's good. But this thing will stay shelf stable for weeks. I made one a few weeks ago when the first shelter in place went, and I've been gnawing on it. Here's the chunk I've been gnawing on. Sort of my breakfast, lunch, snack when I'm at the shop in the mornings, and a little goes a long way. Super fun. Kids will love it. Moms and dads will have fun making it with their kids. You know, it's just something simple you can do at home, and a little bit different from your average Rice Krispie treat. Use whatever chocolate you want to. Milk, dark, white, doesn't matter. Just follow the steps, make it. It might be messy. That's the fun part. There's a lot of spatulas to lick and offset spats and bits and pieces all around. So I love the stuff. So I hope you do too.
That looks great. That's an awesome way to elevate the Rice Krispie treat.
We can have headphones in it. Yeah.